Yo, what is up, guys? It is David back at it here for another video today. And in today's video on this sunny Friday, I got a very useful tip for you to use. And it really can help you, get through whatever you're going through right now. And to really kind of understand how you can, get through, the things that you don't like doing, even if you know you have to do them. And the way I'd say you go about doing that is you have to understand that whenever you have any goals set out, whenever you have any thing you're trying to get into your life or that you want, right? You have to look at it kind of as a macro goal, kind of like a big picture thing. I mean, not all the time, of course. Sometimes, there's a lot of short-term goals we have that we kind of just want right now, or things we can get obtain pretty easily or quickly. I mean, even with those things, you can look at it as a macro thing, a bigger picture thing. And what I mean by that is like to get those little things you want, even the small things or the big things, you have to take certain actions. You have to do certain things to get those things, or go through a certain process. Most of the time, anyways. Right. So, for example, I want to go get food. I don't have food in my house. So, what's the next action step? I gotta get out, put on some clothes, get in the car, drive to, grocery store, restaurant, whatever, and get some food, right? Those are like micro, and I'm gonna introduce you micro action steps, or just micro, things that you do or processes that you incorporate along the way to obtain that macro goal or thing that you want. So the macro in this case will be just getting food. You don't have food, so you got to get food. So how you're gonna do it, right? The how and the things you are going to do are the micro. And you might not like having to get out of your house. You might be lazy. You might be feeling like you just want to order in or something, or do Postmates, Uber Eats, or something like that. But Okay, here's another. Let me introduce another macro goal on top of that. The not having food. Well, maybe you committed yourself to eating healthy, or you want that summer body. So, that's your macro goal in that case. The micro goal, of course, is working out, exercising, eating healthy, getting good sleep, keeping stress and anxiety in check, and all those little other small little things. Those are micro, right? And in tandem with that, I want to get a summer body and I don't have food in my house is, well, the micro, right? You don't like necessarily having to get out of your house. You're lazy. You don't like necessarily having to exercise. You don't like necessarily having to go get food. But that's something you have to do, because if you don't do it, you're just gonna be lazy. You're not gonna eat. You're not gonna get the nutrition you need in your body. And if you do, of course, do the lazy way of getting food, which is ordering Postmates, fast food or something, or having it delivered to you. You're going to you're probably gonna get dopamine from that. I'll probably talk about dopamine in another video coming up. So yeah, you'll get a high off of that. You'll enjoy that, but it's very momentary pleasure. It's not a long term thing that gets you what you want really in the long term. You might get what you want in the immediate short term, which is getting food to eat, but you're not going to be happy in the long term with that choice. I mean, not just one choice, but all those choices just kind of add up over time. So, the micro, right? You make those decisions. All right, I'm going to go get dressed, go out, drive, grocery store, and get the food I need. And, I mean, even going to the grocery store, there's a lot of micro things in there as well. Like making sure you actually get the food that's good for your body, not picking out, junk food aisle, chips, whatever it might be for you. I mean, most grocery stores, to be honest, are stocked with unhealthy food. Like every single grocery store. I don't care if it's Whole Foods or some organic grocery store. Most of the food, that's in a grocery store is not meant for us to consume and eat. I mean, I'm not going to get into diets, of course, but most of the food's unhealthy, is what I'm saying. This video is not about eating healthy. It's just giving one example here of macro and the micro. Like looking at your goals or the things you want as macro things, and then the things you have to do to get them as micro. So those are two different things, right? Two different separate macro things that kind of collide together. I'm hungry. I want to get food. and I want to get a summer body, right? So when you combine those two goals together, when they collide, you're faced with the choices of the micro. You don't necessarily like the micro goals, like I said earlier, but you have to make your macro goals more important to you. You have to like give yourself that um, space, energy, kind of like you kind of that dopamine hit that you get from, maybe ordering a pizza from Domino's, getting it delivered to you. You have to find a way to transfer that to the macro more than the micro, because have the if you focus too much on the micro, like in terms of like your energy and motivation and all that, your dopamine reward system in your brain, you're gonna go with the shortcut. You're gonna go with the easiest thing to do, and the easiest, most convenient thing to do most of the time, as in this example, is not what you should do, and it's not the best for you in the long term. And it's not even the best for you in the right now. Even like you might feel like crap after eating, fast food for whatever reason. So yeah, that's like super important to think about. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to think of. There's so many ways you could, things you can try to implement to get that, reward dopamine system towards the macro. You have to find a way to make the macro more stimulatingly rewarding to your brain and fire more dopamine than the micro. Because once you do that, like anything you do in the micro, you'll try to make sure you do whatever it takes to get the dopamine rewards from the macro. So yeah, if you're able to, you know, kind of manipulate your brain into seeing the macro as like this is what I want, like this is the easiest thing I want, then the micro becomes a lot easier to do. There's another example of this. Making money, right? Business, right? Yeah, a lot of us say, even myself, I want to make a lot of money, right? That's macro. But the micro, though, usually the micro overpowers the macro because, our brain likes the micro because it's short term, it's easy, it's quick. The long term is like, I gotta wait, delayed gratification. And, I don't want to wait for that, or it's gonna take too long, the process. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm scared. I'm lazy. Just give me what I can get right now. And what you can get right now, well, sometimes it might be good. It's probably not going to be as good as what you will get if you approach it from the macro perspective. So the way to see it as, right, like here I'm going to give examples specifically for me in my business, right? So of course, I told you I sell physical products on the internet, a website and all that, kind of like Amazon, except I sell my own websites. So the macro is I make money on my online physical products stores, websites. That's a macro. Make a lot of money, all that, making a lot of profit, all that, doing well, quit my job, all that stuff, right? Macro. Everyone wants to quit their job. Everyone wants to be able to be free. But not many people actually get that, because the micro is more important to them than the macro. Micro being things like procrastinating, watching motivation videos, stuff like that. And I'm guilty a lot of this, I have been in the past. Still battling a little bit of that too. A lot better now after the 75-day blitz that I did. That shaped me up quite a bit, and I'm still making progress after that because it doesn't end. That's life. You keep going. The 75 days was more just to, get me on track, just to build that habit, and that's something you continue and take with you for the rest of your life. Not something you kind of just stop once you're done with the 75 days, right? So, yeah, the micro. I hate a lot of the micro stuff like all the little nitty gritty back end stuff, like building a website. Like although the macro here's another macro in the macro, if that makes sense. It's macro building a business online. Another macro is building a website for that business. It could be a micro. It's a micro and a macro. It's a macro in the sense because building a website requires a lot of different things like apps, maybe coding, maybe themes, a lot of editing. Like tweaking, colors, fonts, layouts, all those different things, aspects of the website, or product descriptions, adding products to your website. That takes time, and that shit's like boring, busy work. It takes time and energy away from what actually makes you money, which is like running advertising, doing marketing, all that stuff. That stuff's sexy, but that's more fun, I guess, if you want to say that. but you have to do a lot of the back end stuff, the stuff that's boring, the stuff that's very micro, but you don't like to do. Customer service, responding to emails, doing research on your market, all that other stuff, right? The easy part is collecting money, but the hard part, ironically, is that you don't get to collect money unless you are able to do the micro. So you must see the macro so important that the micro, you're willing to tolerate with the micro. Like I said before, like the micro can really be anything, right? Like I said, websites, building the website, managing it, the back end of it, online business, customer service, all those little mundane tasks that, don't necessarily always make money. They do, in a way, actually directly and indirectly, but they're boring. They suck. I hate them. I hate a lot of the different micro things I have to do. But when I see the long-term goal, the macro, right, of not having to work a 9-to-5 job, making a lot of money, being able to travel, be free, just being financially well off, being able to sell a business, being able to retire early, those things, that's macro. But you don't get that macro without the micro. And ironically, most people look at the micro too much to get the macro. You have to look at the macro more than you look at the micro, in a way, right? So it's kind of I don't know, I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but again, what I'm trying to say is the macro is your long-term thing. If that is more important than the micro, that whatever you have to do to get to that macro, then you will be able to win and succeed, and you'll be able to push through those hard times of things you don't want to do. But if your goal is a macro like most people, but you only focus on the micro more than you do in the macro, when you're looking at the things you have to do, you will lose because you'll get distracted by the micro and all the different things. You'll be overwhelmed. You'll quit, It'll suck because you only see the micro when you're doing the micro. You don't see the macro. It's a means to an end. Doing the micro is a means to an end to get what you want in the macro. Now in the micro, you might get what the little things you accomplish on the way. Like, oh, I built my website out, or I created an ad, I added products to my store, or and I'm just giving you an example, in my case, of course, but you imply that to pretty much anything. The eating example, the fitness example, relationships, you can apply this too, right? Macro, you want a loving relationship, but there's a lot of micro things you don't like. Some of them you do like, of course. Not saying everything you do in the micro to get the macro is going to be, terrible or miserable, but anything worthwhile, you're probably going to deal with a lot of stuff you don't like too. So you want a happy, loving relationship with your wife or girlfriend. You don't want to commit. You want a loyal, strong relationship and bond. You're going to have to put time into that. You're going to hate a lot of things you have to do. You're going to have to sacrifice things you don't want to sacrifice. That's micro. You're going to get into arguments. You don't like those. I mean, you're going to have disagreements. You're going to fight sometimes. You're going to go through some rough patches, and unless you're, willing to deal with them, you won't get the macro, which is a healthy, loving, lasting relationship. So, again, there's another example right there. Theoretical, of course. Like, of course, I gave you this specific example of me and my business. Some things I deal with that I don't like doing, but when I look at the macro, that's when, I don't really struggle with motivation anymore because the macro is more important than the micro or any short-term instant gratification, right? So, going off of that again, the business example, like I start work again at the school I work at in late September. I don't want to go back, to be honest. I actually want to quit it before then, but I can't as I am right now. So I'm working to pay off debt. I'm looking to get, steady, consistent results in my business. And once I do that, then I'll consider quitting. But right now, if I only focus on how much my job sucks or how much this sucks or doing the micro sucks, I'll quit. I know I'll quit. But I'm looking at the macro. That's more important than me. It's so important to me. It has to drive me much more than the micro of hating something that I'll get through all the stuff I don't like to do in order to get what I want, so I can do whatever I want whenever I want to, right? So, this month, next month, super critical. I know I'm saying that, and a lot of people don't follow through. That's been me in the past, but I know that now. I've learned a lot of hard lessons the last 2 years, and I'm facing them head on. Just a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-sabotaging, a lot of things that I really should not have done and gone through. A lot of pains I did not need to go through, but I have because of my own inability to see the macro and seeking instant gratification, right? So things like buying a course, learning something online. I don't need that stuff most of the time. Like, I've done so much that it's like sickening. Like, I'm an info junkie, a self-help junkie, or motivation junkie, or thinking I need more information. I don't. Like I had to throw that out recently. Just throw it all out, saving all these tabs, all these notes. Oh my God, all these links, like my room, like it's just a total reflection of my life up to this point for the last 2 years. And most of it's garbage, honestly, like, because it just bogging down my brain, and a micro decision of, oh man, I gotta be perfect, nitpicky, right, about that. That's where it fucks me up too. I'm not saying the micro is not important, it is, but like, focusing so much on the micro more than the macro is what's gonna screw you over, because you'll overthink things, you'll overanalyze, you'll get stopped in your tracks because you're, analysis by paralysis, or whatever it's called, right? You'll talk yourself out of doing things, mentally speaking. And a lot of life is mental, so when you're able to see the macro and truly see the macro is more important than the micro or any fine little details, as long as you get the macro right and you gravitate towards that more and act based on that, where that is a primary driver of what you do more than the micro, you will be able to get through the micro and you will get the macro, what you want in the end, most of the time. Right? So tossing out a lot of the micro for the macro. The macro in business is like knowing your market, having a good offer for your market, and being able to get that offer in front of them and sell it to them profitably and provide value to them in the process of giving them that offer. Offer being product, service, whatever it might be for that market or that specific group of people or person or persons. That's business right there in a nutshell. Or being able to, like, few things you're good at, it's that. You're good at sales, marketing, you're good at understanding and reading people and able to understanding how to communicate with them to deliver that value at scale or profitably for you. That's it, man. It's nothing complicated. Or being able to tell emotionally compelling stories, which kind of goes in like building a brand and all that, and marketing as well. Like, that's just very basic. It's fundamental stuff we all do every day. We don't think about it. But as long as you do the basics right, which is the macro, again, the fundamental things are macro. The micro is all those little tactics that keep changing and all the little day-to-day things, we try to learn all the time. But as long as you stick to the macro, the basics, you will win in business. You will win in life, as in working out, getting the body you want. Sleep, diet, exercise, 3 pillars right there. Dial those in, you'll probably get most of the results from just doing those 3 things right. You don't need a course, a training. You don't need more information about that. Most of us know what we need to do, And that's kind of what this video has been about, actually, if I really think about it. And I'm kind of just talking now at this point out of my ass. But if you're still watching this video, thank you for watching this. I really do appreciate you watching this because, time is very finite on this earth, as we all know. And as many of us do not, actually live our lives like that, but, as we do know, and if you're watching this video, you probably do know what I mean. But yeah, I really do appreciate you listening to me for this video. I hope it's a good video I hope you're getting some value out of this talk, because these things, as simple as they are what really drives success, and what really gets you what you want in life. It's what really makes you happy in the end, the macro. And ultimately, it gets you through the tough times, because you will hit tough times. You will actually encounter a lot of things that try to derail you from getting what you want, and it's just gonna happen. But if you only see if you only see the little things you have to do to get there, you'll quit. Again, like I said, you'll give up. But if you only see the macro without seeing the micro, you're unrealistic. You're gonna quit quit as well, because you're not going to actually do what you need to do. So you need a balance of both macro and micro. But like I've said, ultimately, you need the macro to be more dominant than the micro. So not 50-50, maybe 60-40. Or I mean, I'm just throwing out random numbers. It's random arbitrary numbers. You don't have to look at it as a number scale, but the macro is more important than the micro. As long as you get most of the macro right, and you have you have some balance where it's not all macro or all micro, you'll win. So macro is more dominant than micro, and you have a lot of macro and a good amount of micro too, and you'll win. So that's a formula, I would say, for being able to get anything you want in your life, in this life at least. Very simple, right? So yeah, step one, make the macro more dominant than the micro. Find a way to make it rewarding to focus on the macro, but also understand that you need the micro too. But if the macro is stronger than the micro will be a lot easier to, push through, get through, or, put up with. So that's 2. 3, get that macro. And so yeah, I hope this video found you well. If you like this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below what you think about this video. Any thoughts you have, I'd love to hear them in the comment section. And if you're watching this for the first time and you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below as well, I believe. And with that said, happy Friday, keep crushing it, live your life, be your best self. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Peace.